We opened up the show talking about the big deal in the NFL yesterday, the trade that was completed. Steelers, Dolphins. The Dolphins trading Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith to the Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a pick swap. Jalen Ramsey, really excited about being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Minkah Fitzpatrick goes back to where his career started in Miami, where they traded him years ago to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had a really nice run there in Pittsburgh. Now he's back in Miami. And you look at it, you go, all right, so Steelers are getting aggressive. They've taken a different approach this offseason, it feels like. They've got a new quarterback. They've got a new wide receiver. They just went out and acquired Jalen Ramsey. Jonnu Smith gets reunited with Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, Darius Slay. Like, it feels like Pittsburgh's getting aggressive. I would also say this. This offseason is a loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they don't figure out a way to get TJ Watt's extension done. Like, that to me would wipe out all of the good intent and goodwill that the organization has been able to accomplish so far in the offseason. And there's been some speculation. Adam Schefter was reporting this, that in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given the trade of Jalen Ramsey or Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah. So if this all comes and the cost is you end up losing TJ Watt, then all of a sudden I'd like to take back my initial comments of love the offseason for Pittsburgh. At least they're giving themselves a chance. That would be a bad loss.
I think if TJ Watt were not to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, you would be well within your rights to say, for the first time in any time that I can think of or remember, I would actually fix my face to let my mouth say that the Pittsburgh Steelers are running amok. I would never in my mind feel as though I would ever say that this organization that I've learned so many lessons from growing up and just real time experiences with people who are connected with that organization since I was a kid. I still have the most fondest and great memories of my interactions with Coach Cower and the things we've discussed on a personal level, from Greg Lloyd to Dwight White, who was there when I was young. You know, I was preteen. You know, and I got to know Dwight White because we lived in the same neighborhood. And so just my background and connection to the team, you know, I know it from a fan's perspective, but I also know it as an aspiring football player. And obviously to the point of where, you know, I was going around with Jerome Bettis. Jerome took me under his wing and literally was like picking me up and driving me around and talking to me about, you know, what it meant to be dialed in and locked in to being the best you can be and how that looks and the things that I needed to be thinking about. Like, I had all these things real time with Steelers. And so looking at where they're at right now, they kind of are flirting with it already in terms of, it's like, I find myself asking myself, what are they doing? Like, what are y'all doing? If they were to let TJ Watt walk away from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it would be official that everyone that is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and even beyond the Pittsburgh Steeler community would be asking, what the hell are the Pittsburgh Steelers doing?
Yeah.
And the only way out of it and the only way through it is you got to have a tremendous season. You got to have a tremendous season. So you're going to have Aaron Rodgers play better than Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and Kenny Pickett You're going to have Jalen Ramsey have a really, really fine year. And if TJ Watt were to go, I don't know, man. That would be a total meltdown. I think the pressure to sign TJ Watt is higher than it's ever have been. What it would ever be right now. They're going to sign TJ Watt, whether they like it or not. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to sign TJ Watt. They have no other recourse but to sign TJ Watt.
It also, if they were to trade him, it would go against everything they've done.
Now.
It would go against everything they've done this offseason, because these are win now moves. Like, you're not, like, Jalen Ramsey's not 22. Like, you're bringing him in because you feel like, hey, listen, if he's going to play corner, if he's going to switch to safety, whatever it is, this is for now. Aaron Rodgers is done after this year. DK Metcalf, they feel like, hey, this is an upgrade at that position. Jonnu Smith, like, it's not like he's got a long-term deal. These are all we want to compete right now moves. And trading away TJ Watt might make sense for the future. Like, when the Raiders decided to trade away from Khalil Mack, the thought was, well, look, I mean, we're not at a point to where we feel like we can compete, so let's at least get as many picks as we possibly can. This would just be counter to everything that they've done so far in the offseason. That's why I find it far-fetched that this would happen. But until there's a deal done, it's possible. And if you remember the Khalil Mack trade, that happened right before the season started. So I look at it and I go, I'm optimistic they'll get something figured out. But if I'm a Steelers fan, it's almost you hold the right to reserve judgment on the offseason based on whatever that move is. That cancels out everything for me. Whatever they've done, not signing TJ Watt and moving on from him just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
You can't move on from TJ Watt. Can't do it. And that's the bottom line. I don't even think it has to be a long discussion. You can't move on from TJ Watt. If you move on from TJ Watt, good luck and God bless. Because you've not only lost the belief of probably the general media. The media will rain down on that. But you're going to lose the belief in the fan. The fans are going to lose belief in what you got going on. And I'll tell you, people talk about block out the outside noise and nothing else matters and this, that, and the other. Fans matter. Fans matter. And if you're one of those people as a decision maker, a coach or a player, and you don't think the fans matter, ask anybody who went through COVID how important the fans are. And look no further than the idea of you don't want to be a fanless franchise. Like, it's not good for business. So the fans matter. So some of the decisions that these franchises make, the organizations make, I mean, granted, this is like a Saquon Barkley deal, right? Like, they let Saquon go.
Oh, God.
And look at how that played out. There's no doubt in my mind if TJ Watt ended up on another team, he's going to ball. And he's going to make that team a better team. The question is, did the Pittsburgh Steelers become a better team letting TJ Watt go? And which they would have effectively let go the best two players on their football team, and Minkah Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt. Cam Hayward probably being number 3. And for what it's worth, that's just on the defensive side of the ball because you let Pickett go as well. Pickens. And so, all right, you brought in you bring in DK Metcalf, but DK Metcalf has been considered to be a head case at times as well. So it's not like you made a decision where you upgraded, like you brought in, and no disrespect, but it's not like you traded out a low character guy for a high character guy. You didn't do that. I mean, DK Metcalf has just as many meltdowns, if not more, than George Pickens has had.
Does he? I don't think he does. DK Metcalf?
Are you being serious? Are you being serious?
He's got as many meltdowns as George Pickens?
You better look him up. Look him up.
All right, let me look this up. Actually, you know what? I'll Grock it right now.
Grock him.
All right, so go ahead. You continue on. I'm going to Grock.
All I'm saying is that the decisions are questionable. That's all. They're questionable. And if you allow for TJ Watt to leave Pittsburgh, then it's not questionable anymore. It's just something's wrong. Something's wrong. And they're running amok in Pittsburgh. Now, if that leads to the emergence of the last time high noon shootout, showdown where the gunslinging Aaron Rodgers does it one more time and ends the movie killing the villain and walking into the sunset with the girl and the trophy, then great. It all worked out. But then you also got to take into consideration, what do you do after that? What comes next? Like, are you just really preparing for 1 year? What comes next? Because you're judged on a what have you done for me lately type of status. What comes next? So I don't know.
All right.
And the answer is yes. I don't need Grock.
Okay.
I've seen it with my own two eyes.
Well, I mean, listen, I went to Grock just to go because I think this is a real debate here. All right.
Okay.
So we don't need a
Is it
moderator. We've got Grock. This is a real debate. So you think George Pickens has had less meltdowns than DK Metcalf? I think the opposite. I'm team DK Metcalf here. You're team George Pickens. According to Grock, both DK Metcalf and George Pickens have had their share of emotional outbursts or meltdowns, as you say, on and off the field, often tied to their competitive nature and frustrations with team dynamics or performance. However, based on recent reports and sentiment, George Pickens appears to have a slight edge in terms of frequency and public perception of such incidents. The data doesn't provide a definitive count of meltdowns for either player, and much of the perception comes from the media narratives and fan sentiment. Pickens' recent actions, particularly of social media activity and the youth camp incident, have drawn more attention, suggesting he may have a slight edge in terms of publicized meltdowns. However, both players' competitive intensity makes them prone to emotional moments, and without a clear metric, the comparison remains close. If you're looking for a more genuine breakdown, I'd need specific incidents or a time frame to dig deeper. Any preference there?
I would just say
no, Grock. How about you pick a side and stop riding the fence?
I would just say that Grock makes my point.
Point.
You didn't upgrade. You didn't upgrade. You didn't get this high character guy that you don't hear anything from, that is just comes and does his job and works hard and just da. And both of these guys may do those things. It's just the other things that play a part in it. Grabbing people by their face mask, pushing them after the whistle, like doing craziness where it's like it clearly shows that the emotional charge that's connected to you is high. And Pickens has done it, and so has DK Metcalf. So to me, DK stayed crashing out on the field. I mean, he every once in a while you'll see him like he be ready to fight. For real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. We're going to fight.
Yeah, that's that competitiveness. That's what we want with the Steelers.
You can be competitive. You're such an instigator. You can be competitive without it coming across that way. So, and the point is it is what it is. I mean, both of them are fine football players, but don't try to justify one to justify the other. Like, they both kind of have character traits that are relatable, and Grock just confirmed.
So
I don't know where you go with that.
But Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, he did report, at least on Monday, that the Steelers do intend, and they have no intentions of trading TJ Watt. They intend to extend him. And again, I'd hope so, because if for whatever reason,
that's the end. If they were to do that, if you were to get rid of TJ Watt prematurely, that represents the end. It's the end of an era. And you would just have to assume that the GM and the head coach are both going to be gone after this season. You become a lame duck organization for at least a year. if you get rid of TJ Watt. That's how important he is to the situation.
And look, it's not to say that TJ Watt's not been a pain in the ass in negotiations, or that there have been some things out there about how difficult he is to negotiate with or deal with. All of that could be true. Here's what else is true. That dude's a Hall of Famer and can still play at a high level. And you need him, especially to get after a quarterback in a division where you've got two also probable Hall of Famers in Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Trading away TJ Watt would feel like a Bengals move, not a Steelers move. And if you're the Steelers, you don't want to have that stain or that rep. You don't want to be, as you mentioned, the next Saquon Barkley. Especially, a guy who wants to,
and that's a lock.
Make it happen there.
That would be a 100% lock.
Yeah, he's
going to go somewhere else, and it wouldn't. I don't know what type of team it would be, but if he went to a team that would, say Kansas City got TJ Watt.
Oh my God!
Exactly. Yeah.